Let's go to this issue that I brought you last night. Just before we went to air, you'll remember that the Andrews government, without the appearance of the Premier, of course, announced a Royal Commission into the suitability of Crown Resorts to hold a casino licence in Victoria after the New South Wales regulators delivered their own scathing report recommending Crown not be handed a licence for the new Barangaroo casino. Retired Federal Court Judge Ray Finkelstein, he's been appointed to head the Royal Commission in Victoria, which will deliver its report in, wait for it, just 5 months' time. Here was the Premier this morning.
You're not going to get me standing here apologising for having put the highest and most formal legal process in place to determine whether that business should have that licence, the only one of its kind in the state. It'll report by the 1st of August and we'll be able to make decisions then.
For more on this now, I'm joined by Victorian Liberal MP and Shadow Attorney General Ed O'Donoghue. Ed, I've got to say, your leader, Michael O'Brien, was all over this on Twitter. I've got some graphics to put up there. He makes the point that I did in relation to Crown. They've been arguing for an inquiry into Crown. He makes the point that this inquiry, though, in Victoria will run for 5 months only. New South Wales, it was 18 months. And I think, as everyone out there was saying yesterday and again today, how can they have a Royal Commission into Crown but not a Royal Commission into the 800 deaths last year and the chaos and calamity of those 3 lockdowns in Victoria due to hotel quarantine failures? Give me your view on this Crown Royal Commission, if you can.
Good evening, Peter, and thanks for the opportunity. Great to be with you again. The points you make are absolutely correct. We should have had a Royal Commission last year into the 800 deaths in Victoria following the disastrous second lockdown and Daniel Andrews' failures with hotel quarantine. That's something we will remedy when we win the election in November next year. We will have that Royal Commission. This Crown Royal Commission does raise many questions. 5 months simply, we don't believe, is long enough. As you said, the Bergen inquiry in New South Wales went for 18 months. And Daniel Andrews has been dragged kicking and screaming to actually having this Royal Commission. The allegations that will now be investigated by this Royal Commission were first aired months and months ago, and many people have been calling for this type of investigation for a long time. And we in the Parliament, the opposition, moved a motion last week. I moved a motion that we would have a parliamentary inquiry into these issues. So Daniel Andrews clearly is doing this because he has to. We're concerned that 5 months simply isn't long enough. And the terms of reference don't have the focus on the regulator, the Victorian regulator, or Victoria Police that they should. Because many of the issues around Crown have been aired and are understood and accepted as fact. What isn't really known is why has the Victorian regulator failed so badly, and why isn't Daniel Andrews making this the focus of this Royal Commission?
Look, you make a very good point. So they've done 18 months of work in New South Wales in front of a judicial investigator and judicial inquiry. And of course, the New South Wales investigation was into what happened in Melbourne, and would that make Crown a fit and proper person to operate a licence in Sydney, which they don't yet have. So it was all about the Melbourne issues. If they've already done 18 months, can't that be just taken as read, put into this current Royal Commission, and then the 5 months is spent on why, as you say, the Victorian regulator has failed, why Victoria Police presumably has failed, and go after those issues. Otherwise, 5 months to go over the ground that's already been discovered, it looks to me like an effort in distraction.
Well, there are agreed facts, and agreed facts that Crown don't dispute. So, as you say, let's get on to finding why the authorities in Victoria under the Andrews government failed so terribly. The issues aired in the Bergen inquiry should have warranted action months ago, and until yesterday, the Andrews government was saying they were going to bring forward the annual or the 5-year review, which simply isn't the vehicle to investigate such serious allegations and such serious failings by the Victorian regulator. And as I say, Victoria Police have a very important role to play in this as well.
What do we know about the former judge who will head this Royal Commission, Ray Finkelstein?
Look, Ray Finkelstein has a very senior legal career. He's been a federal court judge. He's a senior QC. He's also the author of the legal advice for the Labor Party on the East-West link prior to the 2014 election. And it was that legal advice that Daniel Andrews said the East-West link contract isn't worth the paper it's written on, and to tear it up won't cost $1. Now, Victorian taxpayers know it actually cost $1.3 billion, and the contract was worth the paper it's written on. So, you know, the background to Mr. Finkelstein's engagement by the Labor Party and Daniel Andrews, I think are legitimate questions that need to be answered.